Well, another day has almost gone by, and I've got a little coffee here, and it's time to tell a story. It's story time, so grab your coffee, tea, beer, whatever you like. Come on out, we'll tell some stories. So this story is about, it took place back in 1983, 84, place I lived in, England. So this is England. I was in the Air Force, United States Air Force, living on a Royal Air Force base, and for a while in the barracks. And then my wife came over. I had to move off the base. So we actually rented a place off the base. It was about probably 20 miles in a town called Banbury. Now, some of you out there in England might know Banbury, the Cross. What a wonderful place to be. It was a lot of fun. If you know anything about England, or if you don't know anything about England, there was a lot of pubs in that little town. Everybody loves to drink that room temperature beer there. And the churches there, is what we took shortcuts to get to some of these pubs. All their burials and graveyards are outside the churches. So it's kind of already kind of a eerie setting in some sort of way. Very interesting. I mean, the gravestones had skulls on them and all this kind of stuff. And a lot of the pubs are named after animals like the white lion and all that kind of good stuff. So, I mean, it was a lot of fun. But we lived in this house, and my wife and I moved into this two-story house. And, the yard was overgrown. It was cheap. So we took it. I mean, we didn't have a lot of money. I think I was making $900 a month in the military. And at the time, she wasn't working, so, and we had a baby, so we had a little baby boy in this house. But it was haunted, definitely haunted. You hear a lot of stories there in England. England's full of haunted stories. My buddy that I worked with, also an Englishman that lived in the area, also had a ghost in his house. He lived on an old apple orchard where this lady would walk through with a basket of apples. Very interesting. So anyways, I'm living in this house, two-story house. Pretty big house, actually, too. You walk in, the front room's to the left. It had a door. There was a stairway up on the right going to the second floor. Another door to go into the dining room, and then straight through another door to the kitchen. So you had this entrance area and these three doors downstairs. Dining room, kitchen, and the living room. And then upstairs, if you walked up the stairs to go upstairs, right in front of you would be the bathroom. And then to the left were a bedroom towards the front of the house, and with a door, of course. The bathroom had a door, and then also another door. And why I keep saying doors is because this is an important part of the story. So also another bedroom with a door, a smaller bedroom. But I mean, the bedrooms there were big, not like we're used to these small studio apartments. Anyways, we lived in this house for probably about a year and a half, about a year and a half more. It moved off base because there's no place for, a couple to live on the base. It's mostly just for, the man or the woman single that lived in the barracks. And they had men's barracks and women's barracks. Anyways, I made a lot of friends there. It was really fun, but it was time to get serious about a family. So I took my family to this home. We all lived there. But the thing is, anytime we were upstairs, we noticed, or downstairs, on the opposite floor. So if we're downstairs, upstairs, the doors would slam shut. We thought it was very strange. I'd go up, I'd see no windows open, no drafts. I don't know how they could be slamming shut. We'd go upstairs, to get ready for bed, get going to bed, and then downstairs, the doors would slam. Now, you would think at this moment in time, we'd probably think something weird's going on. Well, I just kind of shrugged it off. But this was happening daily. So it got to the point where, okay, we've got something going on here. This is a ghost. So you would think that we would shut the doors, but no. I was kind of intrigued. I've always been intrigued with this kind of stuff. I grew up with it all my life, and there's more stories as when I was a child and a teenager that I'll tell later on story time. But this was unusual. I mean, every day these doors would slam. So we had a friend come over, and his name was Luther. He was, but I won't tell you anybody's last name, but he was a a nice young man. He was a black man, and went upstairs to go to the restroom. Came over, and we were all sitting downstairs. Nothing had happened at that time. It was kind of during the evening. He was upstairs doing his thing in the bathroom, and then the next thing I know, he comes running down the stairs, freaked out, running out the front door, standing out the front door, telling me that he's never going to come back in my house again. I'm like, what happened? What's going on? Did you see something? He's like, yes, you have a ghost. I'm like, yeah, it's a ghost, but nothing was happening. So why did you? He said the thing was up there. He could hear it walking around. And I guess we were downstairs watching TV at the time, so we didn't really hear much. We were, watching the TV, watching the tube. So he said he came out of the bathroom already frightened, and as he's coming down the stairs of the house, he could hear this thing walking behind him. He actually stopped midway in the stairs, he said, and then it was for sure he knew. When he kept hearing those stairs coming down towards him, that's when he jammed out the door, he said. And he said he would never come back over again. And we used to work on cars over there and do all kinds of stuff. But yeah, he never really spent a lot of time in the house, but that night he did, and he never came back, actually. He was right. But this house was definitely something going on. So yeah, I mean, if you have a story like this or anything, please write it below, down below here. Just write it out. Oh, and also, you see the thumbs, the thumbs up button. Give me a thumbs up if you can. That really helps. And if you want to hear some more of these stories, definitely subscribe, because I'm going to be coming out with all kinds of stories later on here, and a little bit at a time. Of course, this is story time. It's a little boring, but I wanted to bring these stories out. Like England, I'm not going to be able to go back to this place. And I think when I looked on Google Maps or Google Earth, that place is gone. It's all new development now. That was a pretty old house, one of the older houses that they had built up there. So that's not there anymore, and I will never be able to really probably go back to England to show anybody where I used to live and this how it happened and all this stuff. But it definitely happened, and I do have a lot more stories. But yeah, there was no drafts in that home. I had checked the home for drafts or breezes, any kind of wind. Anything, nothing. And it happening daily upstairs when we're downstairs when we're upstairs. We automatically knew. So that's your story of the day. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed a little time out with your coffee or tea. And stay tuned for some more stories. We'll get more out there the more I get going here. So yeah, enjoy. And if you have a story, again, write it down.